Okay, I have an excellent connection. Excellent. This is let's see, let me show you the whole thing here. Let's go to front elevation. This is a little farmhouse. It's not little, the porch makes it quite big and a little more expensive than some houses this size. Yeah, these porches can get expensive with all of the handrails, the footings. I think there's like 20 some odd posts. The decking, depending on what kind of decking you use, they can get, I think there's as much square footage on this this porch as in the house. I think it's only like 20 or 30 square feet difference. So anyway, I didn't want to make this about the porch, but it always impresses me whenever I see these small houses and they have these wraparound porches, and the owners don't understand sometimes how budgets get so large. It's funny. I mean, I can frame this whole house. I can frame this whole house up in the same amount of time as I can frame this porch. Okay, so think about that. Your framer is taking a week to frame this house, and then the main part, and then he's going to spend another week framing all of these hips and all these weird junctures between you see? So anyway, I really didn't want this to be about wraparound porches, but it's turning out to be, isn't it? What it's about is, let's turn off the porch, the roof, the walls, the floor, and what else? Oh, these little tick marks. I put these little tick marks to show me where, when I start using my Medique wall extension, where to put windows and doors. So I'm going to turn those off. And what we're left with is a basement. This is going to be a basement home, and these will be poured concrete walls. And you might think, well, the stair's not complicated. It's not. If you're a 40-year carpenter like me, it's easy. But sometimes it gets, planning is everything, right? All you military guys know this, right? And you might be saying, well, what's that gap between the landing and this wall? We're going to talk about that. And just I think with all my SketchUp videos, the main thing I'm trying to stress is the planning aspect of your project, because with stairs, especially with code issues, the width of the stair is an issue. The risers and treads are an issue. The whole thing, it's a means of egress, which means that the building inspector is going to pay close attention. He's going to pay close attention. He's not going to play to this head height when you're coming down the stair. If we turn on the floor, you'll see, when you're walking down the stair, I like to have 7 feet here, minimum. And you can see I've got 7 foot and 1/16 of an inch to spare. Yeah, you see. And that's measured from the edge of the nose. Of course, see, these are just what I call schematic stairs. And I'm going to show you how, sometimes when we, rough out houses or design them, we don't actually get to, go through the entire process of building them. So sometimes I'll just do what I call a schematic set, which is real quick and easy. I just build these boxes and then stack them up. Now they're accurate, right? The height, but there's no detail. So if an apprentice carpenter came and said, how the heck do I build that? Right? So that's what I'm going to show you. And it's going to be a long, tedious video, so be prepared. So what do we have to do here? We got some basement walls we got to deal with. So on the floor, I'm going to turn on the 2D basement. That means I got to turn off all this other stuff. Thankfully, SketchUp has folders now that you can organize your tags. I'm an old timer, so we call them layers. But this is my basement 2D. I always do a 2D plan. I'm an old timer, so in the end, the 2D floor plan rules, okay? This is actually, after all this planning, the simple two-dimensional floor plan is what you're going to see on the paper, okay? But how we get there, the reason I know this two-dimensional wall plan is 6'9.5" is from doing all of this planning before that, or as I do it, you see? And I'm going to show you that now. But I think first we got to talk about how we get to certain points. Let me turn the 2D plan off for a second. So, and let me turn off the foundation, dashed lines. And this line is, what is that line? This line is not supposed to be there. Anyway, this line, whatever that is, what is that? Oh, that's where I accidentally got the slab extended over. Okay, so ignore that line. That's weird, it goes away. See, I'm like a squirrel dog. Squirrel, I get sidetracked. This wall, this concrete wall is 10 feet tall, okay? That's kind of a standard 9'11" and 5/8. You see, this is where things get corrupted right off the bat. Why is that not? Is it sticking down? It's 10 feet tall, okay? And that's kind of a standard for basements, because what happens is you gotta allow for gravel, which is 3 to 4 inches. Always allow for 4, and then you'll have a 4-inch slab. And I think what's going on here is that this whole thing is, there's this grade. I think this grade is just in the wrong place. Let me move it down a second, and then I'm going to remeasure my wall, because these dimensions are, yeah, something was just funky. I knew I hadn't made a mistake. Just kidding. I'm just going to put it right there for right now. You see, now it should be 10 feet. The reason I was freaking out a little bit was because that means all my stairs and everything are not, 10 feet, okay? That means this is 9 feet 4 to here, okay? And all this matters, okay? Everything matters. All dimensions matter. Is that a bad joke? Okay, just checking comments. I know it's early in the morning for YouTubers. They're late nighters. And this is going to be long, so I'm not going to worry about it being that long. Anyway, the point is, in concrete basements, 10 foot's kind of a starting point, because what that does is it gives you a little over 9 feet, and then say, like in this stair, I've got a situation where I'm going to have an 8-foot ceiling, okay? But that'll give me places to run ductwork and things. So in other words, let's say I had to run a duct across here. I really didn't want to get too deep into this, but because I got these floor girders, okay? What if I had to run ductwork underneath them, right? Or I wanted to or I needed to run, them along the ductwork alongside of it, and I wanted to fur it down. What it does is it keeps your ceiling from being anywhere, lower than 8 feet. You don't want your, especially in a basement, the reason basements feel like basements sometimes is that the ceilings get lower in them, okay? And if you're trying to count the square footage, the finished square footage in a basement, your appraiser is going to give you a hard time anyway, okay? They're not going to want to count the square footage. Now, the way I build my basements, and I can show you examples of this later, is I make them airy, like make the ceilings a little bit higher, and also put plenty of windows in the bedrooms, bigger than normal, and plenty of light. So when the appraiser walks down the stairs and he walks into these living spaces, he's like, oh, this doesn't feel like a basement, okay? So, and there is some psychology there, okay? They're not going to admit it, but I have had them raise appraisals before from their thumbnails estimates because of the way we build them. Anyway, I don't want to get off track too much. So what you're going to have in this case, or in many cases, is a 10-foot concrete wall, and you're going to have some thickness of gravel and concrete, which I allow 8 inches for. And if my gravel only ends up about 3 inches, then I make my concrete a little thicker. The reason you want to allow for at least 4 inches of gravel is because there's almost always plumbing in this under this floor. Okay, you'll have a bathroom down here or a sink or something, washer, dryer, or whatever. You'll have a drain, or you may not have any plumbing in the basement. You may have your plumbing from up here. Say your septic tank is out here. You're still going to have a line that might come down back here and go under the slab and come out. So the point is, you don't want PVC up in your slab. Let's say this is that's your slab, the bottom of your slab line right there. The reason you're not seeing the bottom of the slab is because I turned down. What we do is we turn this slab down all the way around the edges. Okay, so you'd want, if you had drains in your under your slab, you want them. That's what you want. You want them under your slab. You don't want your plumbing to come up into your slab because it'll make it crack. You'll have a crack right here. Okay, oops, that's the wrong. I meant to just draw a line. Wherever that little vertex is, you'll know where your drain line is, right? Because you'll have a crack. And if you step on it, you'll break your mother's back. You'll have a crack across there, okay? That's just the way the universal works, okay? So it also, your plumber's going to love you too, because if you don't allow for that 4 inches of gravel, if you're a tight wad and you think you're just going to pour this on the dirt down here, then you're going to make your plumbing is going to cost more, because your plumber's going to have to trench out dirt now and rock to get your drain lines in. Also, you're not going to have any drainage under your slab. You want 4 inches. The reason that gravel is there is to allow water to drain under your slab, okay? So we always put a drain. We take a corrugated pipe and we run it at a diagonal, and then it comes out down here somewhere on the daylight side of the basement. And any water that builds up underneath your slab can gather into that pipe, because that's the path of least resistance. What you're trying to do is give it a path instead of coming up through cracks. Okay? If you don't have this gravel bed down here and your floor cracks, you're going to have water oozing up through the cracks. Okay? I've seen it 100 times. I'm an old timer. I've seen all this garbage. Okay? And I finally, after a while, you learn some lessons in life. I'm going hoarse for some reason. Alright, so let's get to the stair. Good Lord, you're getting me off track here. What we got to do, the reason I'm glad I turned on this floor framing too, because I've got this pressure treated plate, and again, everything's kind of, white looking now. It's going to be green when I get done. But the point is that we have a certain height that we have to deal with, the rise of our stair, right? And on top of this, Okay, we got our floor schematic, and I do this in the schematic mode until I get ready, right? But here, what have I got? I've got 9.25. Let's see. What have I done? What have I got here? I should have 5. You know what I did? Glad I did it. I allowed for 11 7/8, didn't I? Or did I? 11 7/8. I did, and that should be 3/4. Okay, so during the value engineering part of this project, I just caught something. During the value engineering part of this project, I turned to 2x10s at 16 inches on center and that's why I have these 2 girders here, because they will span 14'6", and I've only got 12'11", so that'll be well engineered. You won't have any bounce in that floor because I've got the span is less than what the joist will span. But it just occurred to me that I don't have to allow, and it makes me wonder now. I think I'm gonna, since I'm actually doing this, I'm gonna go ahead and verify. You're seeing some changes live here. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and make this right and refigure the risers. And I'll eventually come in and detail this floor framing, but that's another video. I'm trying to get to where the stair is going to be accurate. So what you would have is you would have the 9 1/4 joist 2x10 sitting on top of your plate on top of a 10-foot wall, and then we would have, let's go up 3/4 for our subflooring, and then they would have, I think she's going to use 1/2 inch. It's 12 millimeters, but it's close enough to 1/2 inch. That's actually going to be the top of our floor, our finished floor. Okay, 10.5. So we got 9 1/4 and 3/4 and 10. Okay. Now in the basement, this is an unfinished basement. Let me turn off my guidelines; they drive me crazy. All right, so now we know what our finished floor is going to be, and here we know our concrete floor is going to stay because they want an unfinished basement. But I'm already making myself sleepy. It's not even 9. I should have drank more coffee. So let's turn on our 2-dimensional plan in the basement. The thing is, though, this is a bedroom. I've got this window here for egress. This 2-dimension, this is going to be, we might not allow for a 1/2 inch worth of floor material here because they may put, whatever laminate flooring, like a floating floor on top of the concrete, which is, I've done a bunch of and it works fine. So you'd want to allow a 1/2 inch there too. So really that kind of wipes out the 1/2 inch we added up here. It doesn't wipe it out, it negates it. Let's turn that back off. So we're going to, just for the fun of this, we're going to figure our riser from there. So what I like to do in SketchUp is real simple. You can take your pencil and run it from finished floor to finished floor. Okay, 10'3" 3.5". Okay, that's your overall rise. Now the neat thing in SketchUp, and I'm sure a lot of other CAD programs, you can select the line and click divide. Okay, and what I do is I just run this up. I keep running this up until I get to my desired riser. I'm shooting for around 7.5 inches. Okay, so that's 21 at 5 7/8, 19 at 6.5, 18 at 6 7/8, 17 at 7 1/4. That's our bingo right there, because this is an older couple, and I wonder if I've got that, if my tolerance is set right. I'm going to check that. Or, yeah, what you want to do is not 16. We want to go 17. See, you don't want to flirt around with this 7 3/4. You could go, if you were like, if you knew exactly what your finished floor to floor height was going to be, you could try that. But I don't flirt with that 7 3/4, because what happens is, let's say, well, obviously the code doesn't allow anything over 7 3/4 riser. Let's say they decide not to put a floor covering in the basement till later on. See, that means I'm going to be at 7 3/4 plus 1/2 inch until and the building inspector won't like that. So if we go 7 1/4 and they don't put the flooring down in the basement, that's 7 3/4. See, that's right at our limit. Okay, so we're going to go 17 at 7 3/4. Well, why is it? What in the world? Now I got to do this again. Oh wait, it did work. Okay, so it did work. So if I pick that line segment, it says it is 7 1/4. All right. So I'm just going to get rid of that because I know what it is now. Okay, so let's remember that 7 1/4. So what I'm going to do is turn off this floor, and the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to build me 2 framed walls, and then I'm going to get rid of all this stuff. Okay, and it's going to be like I'm starting from scratch. Because when I start detailing, this is basically what I do. I want to turn off floor framing and floor framing, and I want to turn on the 2D basement. Okay, got it. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is put me some offset lines here for when I start putting my framed walls in from my Medique wall extension. Let's see, I'll put one here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do these, I'm just going to do 2 walls for right now, and that way these other walls won't be blocking our view. And I just want to have something to go to. Have a go-to plan. Let's see. The other thing I need to do is move this, duty balls. I had this 2D plan up in the air because it was interfering with my other plan. What have I got that up? 6 inches? Yeah. So I'm just going to move it back down for now. And I'm going to turn off the, I'll just have to leave it there. But you can see what happens is it acts weird the way it's displayed. And this is just a graphics thing. It's not SketchUp or anything else. It's just the way it's just the way it is. All right, so I've got that, and so the reason I wanted to move that back down is because I want to know what this total wall height is. This total wall height is going to be from here, top of the concrete, to the top of this plate, because you want to build your walls to the top of that plate, and that's 9 foot 5.5. That's easy to remember. All right, so we're going to draw them right quick. So let's get our Medique wall extension, and we're going to turn off the, let's see, first of all we want an interior wall, interior, update that, and we want to say no wall sheeting. We don't want that. We don't want wall cladding. We don't want gypboard, no gypsum, no. We just want framing for right now. I can turn these on later, okay? And then, let's see, what was it, 9 foot 5.5? So that's 108, that's 113.5. I can do math. Okay, update. And we're just going to draw this wall. I'm going to go ahead and just draw it because I can, well, shoot. Duty. Let's try, I'm going to draw a little, short piece here. And then I'm going to delete it because I think that will, I forgot to put my little offset line here anyway. Squirrel. Okay, wall. I'm going to have to redo all that. Dang it. All right, interior. What was it, 113.5? I was trying to save that, what I had done. No, but it won't take me a second. Not thankfully, it's easy with Medique. You should have a commercial. Everything's easier with Medique. Okay. Now we're going to draw this wall from here. The reason is because I want this exterior wall to go all the way to the concrete. I want this interior wall to be set back. So I'm going to go from here to over here. Let's see, I meant to go oh, I've got the walls turned off. Let's turn the walls back on, and then we'll turn off everything. We'll turn off everything that needs to be turned off. Told you this was going to be long. Told you. Wall basement, wall casing, cladding, CMU, code, door, engineering, gypsum, hardware, selection. Where's the wall framing? Oh, there it is. We want our wall framing turned on. That's what I'm trying to get to. Get all this other stuff off. There we go. Yeah, see, I had drawn this wall. Yeah, it worked. So what I was trying to do is get this wall framed now and see if it's the right height or not. Yeah, it looks like it's the right height. Now it should be saved. Yeah, that if you once you draw a wall, it saves your settings. I'm going to run this all the way to here just for the fun of it. So what we would do is put a pressure treated plate against that wall. I'm going to show you something in a minute. And I'm just going to run this one to here. Okay. Now what we do, the way I do this is I leave a 1/2 inch gap between the wall and this concrete. They don't touch. That way you don't have to use, pressure treated wood for these studs. This wall is a 5,000 psi poured concrete wall. It's almost waterproof. It would take 100 years for water to migrate through that wall, okay? So you don't have to worry about it. As long as you leave this gap, air gap here, between the studs, the whole wall, you can't really see it, but there's a gap there, okay? And then what that does is that gives you something to insulate to and run wiring through and all that. So just allow, when you're building your house, allow for another 4 inches of wall thickness. And I've done this a million different ways, okay? I've done this with furring strips. It's just a pain. On poured concrete wall at 5,000 psi, you have to pre-drill all the holes, okay? So just forget about that. Forget about trying to attach anything to that concrete wall. Just build this, just allow enough room to literally set. You can see I've got my 1/2 inch wall thickness here accounted for. Just allow enough room for stuff, man. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. And so then you can see we'll have our girders, and this is the thing. We're still going to have underneath our girder. We're still going to have at least 8 foot ceiling. Where's my? I'll do that. Do it over here so you can see my axis. See, I've got 8'5" and 5/8. It looks lower than that, doesn't it? But it's still more than, the beam. The bottom of the beam is still higher than a normal ceiling. But then it comes over, and in reality, this beam would come all the way into this wall. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and fix that, because I was smart and made these components, and that all I got to do is bring one out and they'll all come out on both girders. Yeah. And then what we do is we'll put a stud, 3 or 4 studs under there, underneath it as a post. And then over here, I'll have the same thing. We'll have a post, 3 or 4 studs under there. You can see right here, and I've got this set up high too, off the other floor. But in plan, this is in the right location. You can see that's just a post. That's a load bearing marker right there. So I'm going to put these. I'm going to put these 2 walls in the stair layer. And then I can turn off all the other framing, the other wall framing. Well, I can't do that, can I? Because they're... I better just, undo that. Yeah, I better leave those alone. Okay, so it's no big deal. We can do it. We can do it, man. So you can see now that our landing this is kind of cool too, because it also gives us something to frame our landing to. Okay. This is probably where I should have started the video, but I was trying to show you how I get here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, for now, I'm gonna take this wall. Is that? Oh yeah, it is already a group. I want to move this out. Let's say 20 feet. Let's just go ahead and move it 6 feet more to get it out. So 26 feet, remember that. Now we can deal with our stairs. Now that I know too, I'm gonna just make me, oh, I gotta redo, that's right, I got a 7 1/4, and on these I had 7 7/16, I remember. Yeah, so see, I gotta do away with these. But see, this is what happens. This is kind of the evolution of a stair build, design. You start out with something schematic, and you end up with something detailed. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to go ahead and change this to 7 1/4. I know it's not much, but it'll make a big deal, a big difference whenever you start adding up those 1/16 of an inch. You see, if you got 17 risers, that's 17/16. That's a whole inch in a 1/16. All right, so I'm going to pull this back up. The other thing is our actual landing height's going to be different too. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull this down to 7 1/4, and I'm going to pull this up to that line. And I like to make these stairs, this stair framing is going to be out of a 2x10, so this will come down anyway. It'll all be, everything will be clear, Grasshopper, I promise. I think we have, was it 8 times almost 8? Let's see if that's right. Let's see how close we got down here. Oh, I know what we have to do. We have to move our landing now, see? That's what it was. See, that's the difference. So what we should have is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We should have about 9/16 here. Oh, 1 inch and 9/16. Oh yeah, yeah. Because the landing was higher than it was supposed to be in the first place. So now I'm going to take all these and we'll pull them down to where they should be. Go up and down. I'm trying to get it on the blue axis. Why is it doing that? Get it an angle. Okay, now there is where that's supposed to be. And see, we only changed it like a 1/16, but we're already that far off. Not off, but that much different. So now what I'm going to do is delete these. Let's see. Yeah, that's good. That's a group. So I'm going to delete these. And I'm still kind of in schematic mode here, because when I start detailing this, there's going to be some changes. It'll get more accurate. Can't remember if it was 7. Let's turn on our floor now. Our floor schematic. Okay, I got one too many. Is that 1/2 inch? 3/4. I mean, I might have to do my math over again. That's, if you remember when I first started, I was like, I know what it is. This has to be raised up a 1/2 inch. Okay. That's what it is. The whole thing, let's turn this floor schematic off. The whole thing has to be raised up for the finished floor, but then it's accounted for. I knew this was going to be long, but I didn't know it was going to be this long. I'm going to make a group. Now, for now, on the schematic mode, I'm going to raise this up a 1/2 inch, 0.5. Okay, so that should have got us to within a 1/4 inch up here. Yeah, so this should be 7.5. I have a feeling that what I should have done was made these. One thing I deal with SketchUp is when I was first looking at the, like when I was first doing this and I was measuring, it said 10'4". All right. Where did we come up with 9'5.5"? All right, so we got 9.25, and then, yeah, 1.25", 3/4, and we should have 1/2 inch. That's right, okay. Take those two away. Now, if we measure from the top of our finished floor, to our concrete, I think I might have been accidentally clicking to something else earlier, because now I've got 10'4". Let's go ahead and put that there. And I think I had the risers wrong. Divide. Yeah, see, 17 at 5/16. That's what I was afraid of. It should have been 5/16 instead of a 1/4. Son of a gun. That's what happened. I don't know how we did that. So let's take this off. It won't take long to fix this. Bear with me. And then we'll make this, this is the top of our finished floor. So we need to come down 7 5/16, which means we are back down to here. Let's see. delete guides. For some reason, that something doesn't look right here. 7 and 5. Now, if we copy this, quit zooming in and out so quick, times 8, that gets us down to the floor. Let's see what we got now. Yeah, and that's good. You want, if that's sticking down a little bit lower, that's fine. What we'll do is we'll just adjust this. Oh, that's right, because we need to make all this a group anyway, or we'll move it up. Let's move this up, and we'll move it down to where it touches our concrete, like that. And then, and this may seem laborious to you, and it is, but when you go out to start building these, it's going to be ingrained into your head what you did, what you have to do to get this accurate, okay? And this is still in schematic mode here. We're still just trying to figure out what our risers are. I mean, we know what they are now, but I think that's 7. Was it 7 or 6? Our floor. Yeah. Don't need that many. Now it should be right. This should be close to 7 inches. Yeah, because see, when we add our ½ inch on there, we'll be fine. So I'm confident that I'm good now. Now, the other thing is I make this stair opening big enough to where this wall will actually be framed up 3 foot above this floor. So I make the stair opening big enough so that this wall can go ahead and be built up higher. In other words, it'll be the part of it will be higher. It will be 3 feet above this floor, because what that does is it keeps you from having to build a knee wall on top of this floor. Say this floor came over to here, and but the 3 foot wall just sitting on top of a floor is wanky. It'll wobble back and forth. Even if you lean on it, it'll start to come loose. So what you want to do is build a taller wall that comes up, and then it's braced off by the floor. And now on this side I have a regular wall that makes the pantry, so I don't have to worry about that. But see, this is kind of a detailed little stair, and that's why I'm going through this process. All right, so let's frame the stair right quick, okay? I mean the landing. Now that we know where it's going, the reason I want to do this is because I'm going to show you that really the stair landing is in two different pieces. Is that the right height there? Because what I'm going to do is actually get rid of, well, I'm going to use this box to start out with. So I'm going to grab this. I think what I'm going to do is explode this for now. Yeah, and that way I can just work this way. So let's just do it this way. We're going to nail a 2x10. We're just going to make this whole thing our 2x10. Okay. Now this is the finished floor height. Okay, so we got to come down a half for our laminate flooring, and then 3/4 for our subfloor, our Advantex. I'm going to come down to there. Now I'm going to make this a 2x10 because I like to have plenty to bear my stairs on. 9.25, and you can already see how detailing it starts to make it more real, right? And to make it even more real, I'm going to, why did that go white? I want to make it look like wood, man. Okay, so that's our, we're going to nail our 2x10 against that, and we're going to make another one. Let's just copy these. Now this is the overall length of our landing too, so I don't want to go past that. So the 2x10s I use now will just go, let's see, 90. Oops. I thought that was I thought I had made that a group. There we go. Why am I having troubles today? Okay, so now we will make this 36 inches. Let's see, we'll bring this one out to here. So that's going to give us something to bear our stringers on. And we'll take this one back. I haven't checked for comments in a while. Is anybody awake out there? Let's see, let's get that right. Right there. Okay. Now this is going to go over to here. We got a wall that comes up. I probably ought to go ahead and just build that wall, but what it amounts to is we're going to have a wall, a framed wall in the middle. Let's just draw it right quick. It won't take that long. I'm going to use my Medique extension, and it won't take long at all. Because it should have saved it. Yeah, so all I got to do is go from here. It's kind of important. That's the reason I'm bringing this up to here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to explode that. Well, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to leave it the way it is right now. The point I'm trying to make is that this stair landing, I'm going to make it bigger on this side over here. Okay. So, or what you can do is you can just add on. I kind of like making it. In this case, what I might do is, let's run this over. What I don't want to do is I don't want this. I want to maintain this stair width. Okay, I don't want to start setting the stringer on this platform, but I like having a little more to support this stringer over here. I want to have a good, at least 10 inches here. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do, and I think what I normally do is I'll just bring, I'm trying to go back in the past. I usually would just let this stop. Wait a minute. Right here. That's why I wanted to draw that wall. And then these joists, 16. And then we'll have one. And I'll probably just I want this to come to here. Yeah, and I'll probably just divide these up equally. Normally on a stair landing, as a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and show you a quick way to do that. 1, 2, 3. Now that I know where this one's going, I can take this one and I can copy it over to that one, and then I can say divided by 3. You see, and that puts your joists closer together. On a landing, you're not going to fuss about having too many joists in there, okay? Because you want to have a good solid landing. And the reason for that is because I want this one, if I can see it, I want this one to come on out. Oops. I want that part of it. And let's see how we can do this. Make it easy. What we'll do is we'll make it an even dimension here. We'll say it's 10 inches. I almost did it, didn't I? Almost got it. Well, it should be right there, okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to run. Now I know some people are going to say, oh, that's too much trouble. No, it's not. I promise you. This is a strong stair. And I've done it this way 100,000 times. Well, at least 1,000. See, if divided by 3, that'll put me more joist in there. And then I'll have another one. Right here. And all those quality contractors out there are going to know what I'm doing here, okay? Now this one, I'm trying to think what I would do is, it depends on how your studs work out. But this one can stop here, okay? Or if you wanted to run it over to here and put a cripple under it, but this is going to be nailed. This one's going to be nailed into the wall, the studs anyway, nailed or screwed, or you could put metal clips on it or whatever you want to. So that one doesn't have to. But this one will I'd probably want to run. I'm pretty sure I think what we do sometimes is we'll take, depending on how finished this part is, you can just take and put a couple of studs underneath each side, and most people don't mind seeing that. Okay, so for now I'm just going to leave it like that because there's multiple ways, depending on how you want to finish it. Let's see, am I still in edit mode on it? Yeah, you could run this into here, right, and then put a couple of studs under it there, or there's multiple ways. You could put a metal clip angle right here, and that would support it, and then you're just all that. And anyway, the best way to do it would probably be to build a little wall underneath this that had a little opening in it, because you got to have access under the stair. You can't close it off. The code doesn't allow you to box off, have that hollow space under the stair. You would just have a little door, a little opening there. But I've got a door already out here. Well, right here's the door. Let's get out of this edit mode so we can see. Yeah, see, I've got a door right here. So, I don't want to spend too much time on the landing. But the point is, the reason I'm bringing this up is you want your landing to extend over here so that this stair coming down can have something to sit on. Because if you don't, you can imagine you're going to be trying to, you know, nail your stringers onto these studs, and that's all it's going to be supporting them. This is the best way to do it, I think. So then we'll have our, let's just draw ourselves a quick rectangle. We'll go from here to here, and we'll come up 3/4. And we'll make that a group. And we'll just leave that like that for now, because our stringers are going to sit on that. Well, we'll fix this. I'm going to move this wall for a second. 20 feet. Okay, I'm clicking on the pencil, dude. And then you'll have that there. Okay. And that's not that hard to frame up, so I don't want anybody giving me a hard time about that. It's not a big deal. Okay, I can hear all the armchair carpenters in the... Oh, that's just too much. Yeah, I've heard it all before. I've heard it. Been on YouTube for 16 years, okay? Heard it all before. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make myself a stringer out of these blocks. Now that I'm confident, let's see though. Let's see. This is my finished, before I do that, this is my finished stringer height. This is why I'm going to plan all this out, okay? So if I'm going to actually draw a stringer, I'm going to make these a group. Okay, I'm going to use this as a background to make a stringer. Okay, so I'm going to come down. We're going to use 1 inch. What do we got here? Yeah, we're still good. I want to come down 1 inch because that's what we use for our treads. We use 1 inch oak treads. Then what I like to do is put a subfloor on top of my stringer to make it strong as a temporary construction tread, and also make it stronger. So that's actually the top of my stringer right there. Okay, so now I know that I'm going to have a, is this 10? Yeah. So that will stick out. That tread will actually stick out 1 inch. I'll just go ahead and draw that for the fun of it. Okay. Okay, and that gives you an idea of where that would be. And then you would have 3/4 inch for your riser, your kicker, which is a 1x8. So that means your stringer is right here. See? I'm just going to draw this line down kind of wild for a second. Right? So then we've got, then this would come down to your next one, and then 3/4. So to that mark right there should be 7 5/16. I draw a line from here to here, 7 5/16, right? So then you go 10. You see, now we got a pattern going. And 7 5/16. Okay, I didn't do that. So what I normally do is, once I know I've got a good start, I'll take this and I'll copy it down. My, what is it, 7, 8 times 8. Why is nothing working? Nothing is working. Okay. Control key there times 8. And something is wrong. There times 8. There we go. What? I don't know. That was weird. Anyway, so this is going to demonstrate something else too. We're going to take this. After I'm going to make, now I'm going to make myself a group. And I should have made this group before I started copying. That would have been quicker, because now I got to grab all of these. And typically live, yeah, something that's not right. This is supposed to be 10 inches here. Okay. So, oh, that means my little, let's see, is this 11 1/4? Okay, that's 11, that's supposed to be 11 1/4. Oh, I know what the problem is here. Yeah, this is framing, so these boxes are not going to be right. As a matter of fact, I may just delete the. No, I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a group so I can isolate this stuff. And now, when I'm editing it, I only have to deal with this. But this should be 10 inches. I was wondering why we landed so short. Yeah, and then, okay, I see the mistake I made. This should be out here. And then the riser is added to it. Okay. So that's that. So I wondered why am I think so this should be 10, and this is framing now. This is your stringer. Okay. 10 inches and 7 5/16. Okay, now we can copy these down. And I promise we're going to have a stringer in just a second. Times 8. Yeah, now, okay, now we're cooking with gas. I thought something was weird. Really did. And I could tell all right off. The stair should not have landed that short. I knew the 10 inches was correct. Okay. So now here's something interesting to keep in mind, and this is why you lay this out. Okay. Your bottom part of your stringer is going to be a lot shorter, but that gets cut off of the bottom of your stringer, not. And what we're going to do is we're going to run this out here. Let's turn off the floor. What is this? I feel like the floor is getting in my way. What is that? 2D basement plan. That's turned off. 2D basement plan. That's foundation scheme. let's turn that off for a second. I want to see where my this 11.25. That's how wide your 2x12s are. Okay, so what I want to do is go from there to there. To there. I should have got a closed group. That's weird. Something, it should have closed. That's weird. Oh, am I not in the group? That's what it is. I'm sorry. It's gonna be one of those days, isn't it? One of those days. It's raining outside. All I'm trying to do is make a stringer, man. There we go. Now we're cooking with gas again. Now I can finally make my stringer. There. Okay. That's our stringer. And what I was trying to bring, the point I was trying to bring up is, when you get ready to cut your stringers, you cut this extra part, you cut it off the bottom. You don't, in other words, when you first lay it out, this is going to be, 7 5/16, right? Right, it's going to be down here. Right, that's the part you cut off the bottom. You cut it off the bottom of your stringer, not the top of it. Okay, you don't change the height of this. Okay, and that's kind of a noob mistake when you start first framing stairs. All right, so let's turn off all these guidelines. And so now I've got my stringer. I'm going to get rid of this because I don't need this anymore, and I want this to look like wood because I feel better when it looks like wood. I wonder where I can get my I don't like the OSB, where's wood? Here it is. I don't like this hatch, but for Advantech, because it's more of an OSB, but I'm just going to do it for now, for the fun of it, to just kind of start to make these materials look real. Now what I do with these, we're going to talk about this, 1.5, okay. Let me finish this stringer before I start talking about that. Okay, so I'm gonna make the group inside of a group, because what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna nail on a 3.5 inch 2x4 and you will see in a minute why. This is going to space your stringer off the wall, off the framing. Okay. Did I not get to the end? What is going on? All right. Delete that little booger. Alright, so that's our 2x4. We're nailing on the side of our stringer, okay? And then we're going to get one of those on each side. I'm actually going to make this a component, okay? And then I'm going to mirror that component. Let's see, -1. And I'm going to run this over. Now, where's my wall? Okay, this is important. Okay, I'm going to run this wall back 20 feet. Because I remember I hadn't got Alzheimer's yet. I remember that's where it was. Now, these 2x4s are going to do two things. They're going to strengthen your stringer, but they're going to space it off the wall so that you can slide your drywall down beside it, okay? Because you don't want to have to be notching out. You don't want to notch out your drywall and stuff, okay? So that's how we do that. Okay, so now we got two stringers. Now what we want are actually, I know you're going to freak out. Now, you can get by with one in the middle, okay? And I'm just going to show one for now because I know y'all are going to cry if I put 4. Let's see. Divided by 2. There we go. I need to delete that one. Now I'm going to make this one unique because this one doesn't have to have the doesn't have to have the 2x4 on the side of it. Now I'm suspect of that. Did I get that in the middle? I bet I did. I bet I gotta move it over 3/4. How much you want to bet? Yep. Told you. Now, this is the reason you can get by with this with these 3 is because of the next step I'm going to do. Okay. Because I use 3/4 inch Advantech for a subfloor on my steps. Why does that still look like it's not in the center? Let's just draw. Well, it is. I guess I should just trust the math. It's just odd looking. I guess it's because I can't get a good view of it. Okay, the other thing I do is I'll use some kind of hanger. You know, what we normally do is we'll put a 2x4 or something back here. I'm not going to do it right now. But there will be something else to back up this, the back of this, and then there'll be, I'll use like a joint, like a rafter tie, which will be screwed onto the side of the stringer and then screwed into here. But I'm really just trying to get to the, I'm not concentrating too much on fastening. I'm concentrating on how this all works, okay? How the framing works. That's what we're concentrating on. And if this live stream is not 12 hours long, then I'll come back and add that on. So what we have now is our Advantech 3/4. Okay. Make that a group, and we'll go ahead and make it this ugly OSB, even though it's not an OSB. Alright, then we're going to copy. I think this should be 7 times, right? Times 7. I got one more. Now see this bottom tread looks weird, but see by the time you add, let's turn our foundation schema back on. That's floor scheme. Oh, that's floor scheme, not foundation scheme. Yeah, we've got our concrete slab here. Let's turn off our framing, floor framing. Gives a little more view here, but you can see, right, by the time you put your tread on there now, right now we've got, see, 6 5/16. We add a 1-inch tread and we're at 7 5/16. You see, so planing all this out will get you a bunch of things. It'll get you knowledge into your head, and then you'll know exactly. My framer's funny. Paco is always funny because he's learned the hard way to just ask me how tall this. You know, he asks me questions now just to save time, right? I'll say, look, Paco, frame that landing 5'11" 7/8", and he doesn't even question that. It sounds weird, but now he knows. not to even think about it. Just do it. He knows it's going to work. Okay. So that's that one. You can see how much more real we are now than this one. Now we're going to delete this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I need 6 risers. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy this, and remind me to make all these 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to make these unique because these two, in SketchUp, you can, if you grab all the ones you want to remain with the same definition, you grab them. This one I want to be unique by itself. But see now, when I go in here, I'm trying to grab this one. Oh, I am. Oh, I see, that's right. So what I'm going to do is take this, okay, I thought something was going freaky on me there for a second, and I know if I just pull that down and delete it, that works, and I can just do that. And see, now my other one over there is, since I made it the same definition by making them unique together, I can do this too, and voila, I've got myself a set of stringers already for the upper part. You see, because your early investment of work is now paying off. There we go. Now what I'm going to do is grab all this and make a group to make it easier to move around. $180 and move over there. I feel like I'm not on top. Yeah, I wasn't on top of the. Then this will move over to that. Yeah, except that this needs to be right there. And that should be, yeah, right against that stud. Ooh, we got a little gap there. So I think what I did on this framing was I made the overall, probably what I did was, I probably said, it probably came out to be some kind of weird dimension, like, you know, on the width. Let me turn this floor 2D basement plan. And see, this is where you kind of go back and forth. Yeah, if I had made it, I think I went ahead, sometimes I'll add, it's funny how I do this. Sometimes I'll add a little bit, like I added probably a 1/2 inch to this overall. And we really didn't talk about the width much, but what I want to do is I want these finished stairs to be 3 feet 2, right between the drywall, you know, to drywall. It's 3 foot 2.5. So what I'll do sometimes is I'll add a 1/2 inch, just because I don't trust my framer. I trust them, but I don't trust them. So sometimes, let's say Paco reads that 3 foot 2, and he makes it 3 foot 2 between the framing instead of adding the inch for the drywall. You see, then I've got a 1/2 inch fudge there. I can still, because your stair can be 3 feet. It can be 3 feet between the drywall, and then because they don't count the wall-mounted rail, okay, as far as the width. What I like to do is add 2 inches. I don't like the rail coming out of my 3 feet. Okay, again, it's another fudge factor built in. Okay, you don't want your stairs. You don't want the building inspector, you know, coming and looking at your stairs and going, Let's turn on our floor scheme here again, and oh, I was like, what the heck? This got to be scooted back. Now this should be back here. We're gonna see. I should go back to this wall, but why is there a gap there? Oh, I know what happened. Yeah, this wall comes a 1/2 inch this way. Yeah, I had allowed for the thickness of the drywall, but that, and in all reality, this wall, well, in all reality, this wall is not exactly like this. This wall gets framed up like this. 26 feet. See, that wall gets framed up at an angle, but you can see it's sitting right in there, nice and pretty. Got 1/2 inch on either side for drywall. And so what happens is that that 2x4 spaces your stringers out away, see, and then when you start trimming out everything, I got stuck in the wall and floor. When you start putting your risers on, they just run over and butt into the drywall, and so do your stringers. I mean your treads, sorry. And I'm getting ready. That's why I turned this floor off, because I'm always getting stuck inside of it. So I drew this wall out here, this framed wall, just to know, see. But see down here, the drywall will just wrap around it like that. But it's nice to see your details start to match your schematic, because you know you weren't that far off, 26 feet, when you were doing it. Now I'm going to turn the floor back on. What I'm trying to get to here is to see where my floor, if this is 10 inches, then we did good. 9.5. So this floor, yeah, that makes sense. This floor should be back. Well, wait a minute. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Yeah, I remember, because I moved the wall back a 1/2 inch. And so this comes out even. This is a 1/2 inch out. Did that work? What happened? So this should be 10 inches. Yeah. And we're good. Okay. Don't have one question or comment. Odd. Alright, so let's turn off our floor schema and get a good look here. Now, sometimes, honestly, I'll even put a 2x12 here, and I mean, this is how we do it. I just know most people are going to freak out if I say we put a 2x12 there, but I really don't. I'm getting old and I don't care what people think anymore. But sometimes we'll either put a 2x12 here because we know we're going to need something to fasten our stringer to, right? And I'll just go back and show you how we do. Where do we have rafter ties? Let's see, where can I get a quick rafter tie? Oh, I know, on the roof. Let's turn on the roof right quick. And I'll copy out roof truss. Did I delete my trusses? Okay, am I gonna go crazy here? Did I delete my trusses accidentally? Roof framing. Roof truss. Nope. Thank you, Jesus. Why did they not come on? Roof cladding. Roof sheeting. Roof trusses. Well, that's bizarre. What was going on there? That's weird. Turn off the porch. All I'm trying to do is get a rafter tie because I know they're on here. Oh, I see. I've talked to Nathan about this before. We don't put our. Oh, he used those. Okay, he's a different rafter tie. Let's go. Sorry for that interruption. Let's turn off the porch. Let's turn off the roof. I'll just have to go right quick and get a turn off the walls. Okay. Turn off the floor. Well, I had a bunch of stuff turned off, didn't I? Foundation. I had the tick marks turned off. Let's get rid of the guidelines. All that. I could have just done this extension. Let's see. 3D. Warehouse. What am I looking for? I'm trying to show you how we do the. Let's just pick out one here. It doesn't matter. Except that some goofball made one the size of a football field. Thanks a lot, goofball. Good Lord. People troll. They're trolling. Good Lord. They troll the warehouse. They'll draw something gigantic and then they'll stick it in the warehouse and they think it's funny. It's not. See, it's not the size of a football field. I'm just going to delete this one right now. So what we do is, let's see if I turn this around. Is that gonna be, yeah, 90. This is how we do it, okay? And it's better. What is going on, man? Just not. And you can use any kind of metal bracket. It's just that we normally have these handy, so we use them. You know, I buy these by the case. You know, because we use them on all our rafters stuff. But just something like that, some kind of metal clip. And you want to use screws, because what a lot of people will do is they'll start using their nail gun and shooting nails like through the top of the stringer into this, and it'll split the stringer. You want to reserve the top of this, okay, for putting your screws, you know, for your subfloor and your, you know, you don't want to start putting a bunch of nails into your stringers, because they'll just split them. And use those joist hanger screws that come we gotta mirror this one. -1. Like that. And so the joist hanger screws are really strong. This makes it really strong. You won't have any squeaks or anything like that, where when you start walking up and down your steps, one of the things that happens is, you know, this starts rubbing against your framing, because it's just nailed and the nails don't hold that well. Then it starts squeak, squeak, squeak. You know, that's where you get a lot of the squeaks. Plus, if you don't glue these, you gotta glue these treads down, these temporary tread. Now these aren't temporary. I'll just show you what we used to do in the old days, and it was dangerous, and it was really not very good at all, to be honest with you. We used to 30, what is that? 36 by 3.5. We would nail 2 2x4s down like this, or you know, 2 2x6s or something. But I've literally seen it be 2 2x4s. It would be just like scrap pieces of lumber, okay? And so we did this because, you know, after all the drywall and everything's hung and you're ready to trim out the stairs, then we just knock these 2x4s off, right? Well, guess what? Now you already got nail holes in the top of your stringers, right? And sometimes during the framing process, the framers don't care. They're not trim carpenters, right? They don't care if they shoot a nail off at an angle and all that, right? Well, we stopped doing that about 10 years ago, maybe about 15 years ago. And I started gluing and screwing down Advantech. So what that does, it's safer. You know, those 2x4s that were just nailed down would come loose. And when people were trying to carry drywall or windows or something, doors up the stairs, sometimes they'd come loose and you'd literally fall, trip, you know. And so that was dangerous. And so this is a lot safer. And we just leave these there. We just set the oak treads or pine treads, whatever it is, on top of this. And as long as you allow for it, like we did when we first started this video, you'll see that once you add your flooring here and here, everything is cool. But you need to you know, do this, to figure all this out ahead of time, because like this is a good example. I'm just going to draw a piece of what is that? I'm just going to draw a piece of 11.25. A piece of 1. Okay, we're just going to pretend like that's our tread. Well, let's go ahead and put it over there. Good Lord. So I start this mess and then I can't stop. Make a group. Now that's going to go all the way to the drywall, but I'm just going to put it there for now. And this will come all the way over here, or someplace eventually. So that would be your tread, right? And then you would have a finished floor up here. And we'll see if we got, oops, delete this one. You'd have a nose, and this would be that we plan on it being a 1/2 inch. Of course, the nose isn't a 1/2 inch, but let's see what we got. 75/16. What about that? And the reason we got that is because we planned it out. Now, the way this works, I really wasn't planning on getting this involved. I mean, I'll eventually, maybe in another video, I'll completely detail this. And I do have a video on this already. But we would come out and we make a bull nose for this. We make our own bull nose for this laminate flooring. Because you want a solid piece of wood here, right? And then here you would have, getting in deep now, boys. You know, you'd have your kicker going that way, see? And I'll detail all this, you know, later. But the reason that this is so important is because of these different flooring materials now. You really don't want to use laminate, any kind of laminate. You want to use some kind of hardwood for your treads, right? And they're 1 inch thick. So you can't just allow 1 inch for every riser. The landing needs to be accounted for. And that's why when I first tell Paco, my framer, who's my brother from a different mother, that it's 5'11" 7/8", he doesn't question me now because he knows that I've accounted for the subfloor and the finished floor on the height of these. And it's the same thing. See, when you come around here and we put our finished tread on here, and this goes on over, that didn't work. Why does it keep whenever I click, it wants to go down? There we go. Then we should have the same. We should have, once we add our inch to that tread or riser height, and we measure down to here. Oh, good Lord, look at that. That was weird. Somehow my stringer, I never got them down on the floor. I was about to freak out. This should be 7 5/16. Six and 13/16. We might have to adjust our bottom stringer on this one, but this is what we do. This is why we do it. Mesh floor scheme. There we go. Yeah, I can tell by looking. Because see, this is our finished floor height. So see, here we'll have half and then 3/4. Oops. But right now, let's see, we've got 1 inch, 1, and then that's 7 1/2. Yeah. So what we want this to be is up 1/4 of an inch. We want this and this is what you have to do, right? Your stringers, I copied them. I copied them off. I copied these stringers from down here, but this is true to life stuff right here, because what you have to do sometimes is adjust this bottom part of your stringer. Now we should have close to 7 5/16, 7 1/16. Let's go back up here. Maybe what did I do wrong? We're getting into real life stuff here. I'm trying to do this in a hurry, and that never works. When I do this, and I'm not trying to make a video or live streaming, I don't make that many mistakes because I'm not in a hurry and I'm thinking everything through. But now I'm trying to. This will be. Well, this is our. Well, I just should go up from here an inch. And what is this? 7 1/4. And is this our finished floor? If this is my 9 1/4, 9.25, and this should be 3/4. That should be a 1/2 inch. That's correct. So let's just put this on. What's that, 1/2? And well, from here we should just be able to go down to 7 1/4. What? Oh, you know what I'm doing? It's 7 5/16, isn't it? Y'all are letting me. Y'all are forgetting to remind me. We start out with 7 1/4. Okay, so this should actually be right here. Okay. Let's see, is this 1/2 inch? Yep. Let's measure down from here now. What do we got? 7 1/16. So what I would probably do in this case, let's go all the way back down to the bottom. Because I've got my computer out on the job when we're doing this, okay? And we're making adjustments as we go. And this is actually, like I said, more true to life, because these stairs, dang floor, man. Let me turn it off, it's getting in my way. Because as much as you plan, you're still going to have to make adjustments in the field based on just matter being in the way. And why do I keep getting in these weird situations here? That should be down there. Delete that. I think this is resulting in, this should be like 7 3/4. 75. Okay, that's what it is. This whole thing should be raised up. Let's see. So what I normally do is, this is the part where this is the point. Pretend I'm sitting out on the job and the homeowner is standing over my shoulder and I'm saying, okay, homeowner, you have to decide whether you want to, what you want to do about this finished floor down here in the basement. Because you see, I've got my 7 5/16 now. Okay, that's my finished riser. What happens when they come down here and put a 1/2 inch worth of ceramic tile or floating floor on here? This goes to 7. You see, you can't have that much of a variance. And you don't want that much. What you want to do is make decisions. You want to commit to at least a thickness, right? And then, if that's the case, then this whole thing would be raised up a 1/2 inch. You see, And that's why it's important. That's really the point of this video, is to point out the fact that as you're, when you're planning, and it all starts back when you decided how tall to build this wall, this concrete basement wall. You see, that's what started the whole thing. The height of that, because then you're going to set your floor framing on top of that. You're going to put your treated rack seal down, your mud seal. Then you're going to put your floor framing, your floor system, and I'm going to do this in another video, because what I want to do is frame this floor. I may do some of that now. We may just make this a marathon, because what I want to do is get this accurate. So and part of this is me knowing, you see, really the great conflict in my head right this moment is that I know that the homeowners sometimes they'll say, oh, I'm not going to finish that concrete floor. I'm just going to leave it concrete. And so what happens is the inspector will come in after I finish the stair, and they'll measure it, and they'll go, okay, that looks cool. But then later on, when the homeowner decides they want to put tile or wood laminate down here, because this is a bedroom, the problem is it's not a bedroom they need right now, and it's not a bedroom they're going to use. So they're going to have a tendency not to put the floor down. And so what happens is the building inspector comes in. If I raise this up a 1/2 inch, then I'm going to be at that weird 7 3/4 mark, and possibly a little over if everything doesn't work out exactly right. What if the guy coming in and pouring the slab makes the slab a little thin? You see, now I've got a taller, and this is why you plan, but then when you get ready to build, you have to drop a tape down from this finished floor, or what you're assuming the finished floor is up here. Well, we don't assume it. We frame this, and then we'll set, we'll already have our Advantech down, or all that. All we have to do is put something down that mimics our finished floor. In this case, it's going to be engineered flooring, which is 12 millimeters, which is close enough to 1/2 inch to use that as a measurement. So we put that down and then measure down to the concrete, and then add back in our finished floor there. So really it's kind of relative. You can measure if your floor thickness is the same, if your flooring thickness is the same as the concrete, in the basement as it is up here, you can just measure from your subfloor down to your concrete, and it's all the same, right? The same difference, because you're going to add back the 1/2 inch down here and add the 1/2 inch up here. The only thing is you need to make sure that where you place your stringers on the framing is good, because so that when you add your little subfloor on top of your stringers and then your 1 inch tread, that you're going to have your finished 7 5/16 or whatever it was supposed to be, as a finished height, because the code doesn't allow there to be more than a 3/8 variance between the bottom and the top step. So it's important. I mean, you want them all to be the same. That's the goal. Let me get rid of some of these guidelines. How long have I been going? How long have I been going? Does it... Why can I not find... oh, up here. 1 hour 54 minutes. Good Lord. That is it's long enough, but I don't have any comments. Let's see. Is this live chat? Why is this... Oh, good Lord. I had this set on top chat instead of live chat. Good Lord. I'm sorry, guys. The chat was set to where I couldn't see any of the comments. Daniel says the basement's more of a hassle than it's worth. Well, I mean, in Tennessee, we have a lot of basement homes because we have these weird, hills and stuff we have to build against. So a lot of times, yeah, Vanessa Kitty basements are a must in New England. In Tennessee, it's hard to find just flat lots to build, perfectly cool crawl spaces on. Barely Wake, Warsaw Patriot. Hey, there. How you doing, Warsaw? Saludos. That's I don't know Spanish, but that looks like hello. Saludos. Salute from Chile. Hey, Sri Lars. Senior Lars. That's my best guess at Spanish. So, I don't know if any of this is useful to you guys, but I had to, this is something I got to plan out because, we're going to be building this house and I want this stairs are kind of a pet peeve of mine to get right. And it's kind of funny because my framer thinks I'm some kind of, clairvoyant or something. Because since I go through this exercise, it's ingrained into my head. And when I go out there, he's asking me questions and I'm able just to pop off answers. And that's what you want to be able to do, right? You want to have that in your, let's see, where's my walls? I really kind of screwed all this up because I had all these layers turned off that I didn't need. Let's turn all this off. And then I should turn wall framing. There we go. Back on. And then we'll have, we'll have a wall here. I didn't show it because of the, it was going to be in the way, but I think I may go ahead and put it in because what I want to do now is get this stair opening. I may go ahead and frame out this stair opening. And the reason I may do that is because it's critical. Because what a lot of people forget to do is they forget there's going to be this little ledge here, and this was one thing the homeowner asked me about on the floor plan was that ledge, and I may just go ahead and do that. What I may do is just go ahead and show. Let's do this. Because Medique makes this easy. So we're going to do floor truss, and then we're going to go in here and change this to lumber floor. And then we're going to grab this. And I'll have to do some modifications to this, but this will get me started. Oh, I'm sorry. I want to go down here. And then I want to go this way. And that's all right. That's all right. We're going to make this 1.5 inches. Rim board, joist spacing, that's correct. And we'll just say yes. And then we'll turn off our floor sheeting. And then, shoot, I got the floor joists around the wrong way. But I was thinking about that whenever I was picking a direction. But thankfully, since I have the Medique extension, I can just change it real quick. I should have gone this way. The floor is almost square, so that's what was confusing me a little bit. So say okay. And we'll go turn off our floor sheeting again. Now, what I'm going to have is, and I can do this quickly. It won't be that bad. I'm going to go ahead and explode this. Let's see. Let me check something right quick before I explode it. Let's make sure these are 2x10s. 9 1/4, and they're 16-inch centers. I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose too much of this. If I explode this, I can't edit it. As long as I don't explode it, I can still edit this floor assembly. But once I explode it, it's over. Boom! I just exploded it. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I'm hoping he made all these. I think these are all components, and I can just bring these joists back. Yeah, they're going to be. Let's see how far I can go back. There's going to be 3 spans. Oops. Which one was I editing? That one. There'll be 3 spans of joist, and they'll all come to the girder like that. See? Now I can I should just be able to use those. I should just be able to use all these as the same length. Let's see if I can. I didn't mean to. I'd probably go ahead and make them. Let's see. Well, they'll be 14 footers. Let's do this. Let's see where 14 foot comes to. Yeah, that's about how. Excuse me. That's about how long they're going to be. So, what I'd have to do is. This one would have to come. What I may do is just go ahead and do them end to end and then block between them. Because they're going to be a little short to lap. So what I may do is go ahead and take these. I think that's what I'm going to do. This is kind of labor intensive. But this is the best. If you don't have a long enough joist. The only thing about it is you can use 16s and cut off. You know what I'm going to do? I can actually make these. Here's a trick, okay? Some people forget about this. Some people, when they're ordering their material, forget about this. You can buy, let's go 16 feet. Sometimes your supplier will have 16-foot 2x10s, but not 14-footers, okay? So what you can do is buy 16. What about, yeah. And then what you do is you cut off the 14.5-inch block that's going to be your bridging. And that's how long your joist will be. Right? Now, that makes them a little longer. Let's get rid of our guidelines. What that does is it makes them a little bit longer. Right? But now I can use it. Where is that? Let's see how that works out. Yeah, I'll run it back here a little bit. See? I would take these and I would just center them kind of over that. That didn't have to be perfect. Right? Then I've got, how many have I got? A bunch of them. And I may just do this one. Well, let's see. What I should have done was made all this a group. Let's just do that. Let's spend just a second and we'll organize this because this is going to help me in the long run be able to select all of this. And I got to be careful because sometimes I'll select things I don't want. And you're going to see why I'm doing this in a second. Let's see if we got everything. Now, see, now I can just grab all these. I'm going to delete this one. Now I can just grab all these, and I don't have to worry about grabbing anything else, see, if I put them in a group. Because I'm going to copy these over. I'm going to put them just for now. I'm just going to put them right here. And then I'm going to move them over because they're going to be lapped. This is the easiest way to do this, because if you get into trying to cut, what you're trying to do is get into a situation where you're lapping these so you don't have to cut them to where they're perfectly butting end to end. But then see, these will come again down here, and which way did they go? It came back this way, 1.5. Okay, you see how that works? So we'll have three runs of joists, and that's how they'll work, right? Now what we did was we were efficient, right? Because, and I'm not going to do the bridging right now, but the bridging is just all it is, and look, you see, you're going to make me do it, aren't you? You know what I could do? I could do it this way. I could make it part of, well, no, that's not going to work. See, I'm going down a rabbit hole. So what it is the part that you cut off of the 14 or the 16-foot joist, that 14 and a half, will now go in between the joist. And if I get time, I'll put it in there. But really what I'm trying to get to is the stair opening. And let me check to see where my toilets are right quick, because that, let's see, that matters on my joist layout. So I got one here. Is that right? Yeah. And then this one doesn't matter, because, well, it does matter, doesn't it? So that's 6.5, and then so we would be 18.5 that way. Okay, so see, let's turn that back on a second. Our drain is going to be right beside that joist. And then what I'm getting at is, do I need to move? And it's going to miss this one too. So what I do is I take that whole group of joists, and see how this is a narrow gap here. I can adjust that. If I need to adjust it, I do. And then what I'll do is I'll give Paco a measurement. He'll say, what's my layout? How do I start my layout on the joist? And I'll tell him. I'll either tell him it's 15.25, which is, you know, what our typical layout is, because that puts your first one at 16 inches. See? Or we may offset it back, as long as it's not over 16. I can say this joist was right here on the edge of that, you know, on the center of that pipe. I would just move this back 6 inches or something, you know, so it wouldn't be in the way. The reason I'm doing that, but I'm not going to do that, because if I move it back that way, it's going to be in the way of this one. So all that is to look at this, because now I'm going to start framing out this opening. Delete guides. And I don't want to go through all the trouble of framing out the stair opening and then have it different. But see, this is perfect. Look how this worked out. I don't know if you were here before. I said I wanted this wall to come up through the stair opening, and that worked out cool. Let's see how this one worked out. Let's pull this up. I probably should have gone ahead and done this. Well, this wall is going to be the same. I can actually copy. Well, it's not exactly the same, is it? Let's just do it. Let's just put it on here. Let's just do it. We're ready to do it. Well, it kept our same parameters. That's good. Let's see where we're going. We're going all the way to here. Can I reference that point over there? Yeah, that's cool. I want that wall to be the same height as that one. The reason I'm doing it is because I need to know where this stair opening, it should be like 6'10.5". Yeah, 6'10.5". That's good. I just wanted to verify that because now we can move, because we want to move our hole joists, the ones that stay the full length. I want that to be, why is that not? I'm trying to reference. That's weird. Why is it not referencing? Huh. My walls are not. That's weird. This should be easy to fix. No fear. No fear. Let's turn off floor framing for a second. And why are those not turning off? Oh, I know what it is. Floor joist. Why is this not? Oh, I see what happened. This whole floor system has its own floor plate. So I can delete this. Yeah, I can delete this one. And then pull this down. That's what happened. I was trying to figure out why my floor was 1.5 inches higher than it was supposed to be. It's because when that Medique floor extension adds in its own plate, but I had already drawn it, so I don't need it now. I was trying to figure out why I couldn't reference that. Now I should be able to reference that and get it flush. I want to make sure this joist. Yeah, I want this joist to be right there. There we go. And then we need to start. Let's see. This one is good. I'm going to leave that one alone. And, well, technically this joist should be right there. should be right up against that wall. My gut, I don't want to really move this whole floor, all these joists over just for that. I'm going to leave it, but I want it to be true. I want the dimension to be true. And if I don't, yeah, 6'10.5" is right. I don't want to start adding to. So what I'm going to do is double. I was going to do this anyway. I was going to double these. And what I'll do is when I start to lay this out with Paco, let's see. He's going to know, he's going to have a dimension to this. I'll have this joist right here won't be on layout. Okay. And if I double those, it's not going to matter that one was moved. Okay, and just for the fun of it, I'm going to double this one too. And I know it's not necessary, but necessarily necessary. But we're going to do it anyway. All right, so now we know where. Now we know which joist we have to turn into unique joist, because I don't want them to all change when I change these. Because these right here are going to be unique. And they are going to go back . Well, if I can grab the end of it. Why is it doing that? What did I do? I didn't copy that, did I? No. Okay, let's try that again. Double click. Double click. There we go. That was weird. It's like I was pushing copy or something. I think I had pushed the control key accidentally. And it was copying it back instead of moving it back. So I want this to go back 3 inches. Like that. Okay, now I gotta come up with I gotta make sure I make this unique. Come up with this. Well, okay, I thought I was rotating here. I guess I wasn't. And then this, before I edit this, I gotta make this unique. And why do I keep having to double click? I don't know why. It's like I got a group within a group or something. And I don't know why that is. Yeah, what is that? Okay, I got this group. That should be all it is. Why don't I have a group inside of a group? Oh well, that's not necessary, but we're going to leave it for now because I don't want this to be too boring. And so here's where this ledge thing comes into play. Okay. And what you can do is, the best way to do this is to let these actually I don't know why I've got a group. This is driving me crazy. So I'm gonna go ahead and explode that group. Now, okay, I'm outside this group. I got this group. I got this should just be a joist. Yeah, okay. So these should come over here. I'm going to delete this one because it's not a, I think I screwed it up by, is this a component? Yeah, I'm going to make this a component. Okay, and then these, like that. And then this one, these can come back, at least this one. Oh, I gotta make this unique. You think having to deal with the components is a pain, but it comes in handy later on, trust me. This can go to here. Like that. Because you want this header joist at least sitting on that wall, at least an inch and a half, instead of just butting into it. And then that means you'd have, I don't know how I lost that one. Did I delete one accidentally? And this one would be over there. Like that. There you go. Now, what's going to happen is, since we got this, since we have this wall that we've allowed for this wall thickness here, see this, this needs to come over here. And be flush. Where's the edge of that wall? Can I get it? Yeah. And then that kind of shows us again why we made this one unique, because we want that to be like that. And that's why you detail all this stuff out, okay? Because as you're drawing it, you don't think of certain things, right? Now what we want to do is pull one of these over here and make it unique. Like that. And not sure why. Okay. And that is how that's going to be framed. And you're saying, well, what in the world? Okay, so this is, now I'm going to get my wish, okay? I want this part of this wall. Now I'm gonna draw a little wall here, but how can I do this? I need to talk to Nathan how we can do this, but what it amounts to is this wall. I'm just going to go ahead and explode it, and I'll be able to show you. I don't like exploding these, but in this case I'm going to have to. What we're going to do is bring this up to there, and then we're going to bring it up let's see, 36 3/4, 36.75, like that. And then we're gonna delete that one because I copied it instead. Now, what will happen is this wall, now that I'm looking at this, I will make this wall 3.5 inches longer. And I haven't exploded it yet, so I can do that. I can go in here and say edit, and I could make it 21.4.5. Let's see, 21 feet 5. See, and now I can move this one back. Oops, I done exploded it, didn't I? We're not going to worry about that part down there yet. The point is, I wanted these plates. I want to be able to move this plate back. To here. And this one too. We're getting into the weeds now, people. But this is the kind of detail framing that I like to do. And I got this plate in a weird spot somehow. So what I'm going to do is just delete it for now. And I want to put another one of these studs. This would be another stud here. I should have copied that. But I'm going to copy this one over now to make up for it. And then these 3 studs, I don't know if these are these. I don't know if these are components or not. Let me check. No, they're not. So what I can do is make them components easy enough. I can make this one a component and then move it, copy it over here. And then that would come up 36. Let's just say it's 36 for right now. And then we will copy these. $16 times, what was it, 4? Well, I'm having trouble with my times with my command. Copying that 16 times 4. Okay, I need one more. And really, what I would do is these studs would be on a layout to where these would just come over. And again, this is just something you would do in the field anyway. To there. And it looks like that would work out anyway, because I didn't move this in one, and I bet you it's still less than 16. Yeah. But why is that at an angle? What's going on there? Oh. That's weird. Weird. Okay, the point I'm trying to get to is that I would I frame that wall all the way up, and I'm just going to draw myself a plate here right quick, because it might be quicker than messing with the other alternative. And of course, what would happen is you would double. This would be doubled on the end. And it would just be sitting on top of that subfloor, and then your top plate come out to there. And then this would actually, what we would have here is the wall would continue and meet the exterior wall. Right, so we got our wall from main level here. Anyway, this would extend over to meet the exterior wall like that. And where is the exterior wall? Well, there's the schematic part of it. This was when I was drawing. You can see we got pretty close with our, but you can see how things kind of change. Like this was the original when I was doing the schematic plan. And now that I'm detailing it, you can see how things are a little different. How this wall really needed to come a little bit more. Kind of like that. But I'm not going to worry about those because I'm getting ready to delete those. The thing I'm trying to figure out is where's my exterior wall? I keep freaking myself out because I feel like that somehow I've deleted things, but they're here, and it's just in a group. Wall main level. Okay. All right. So if I undo that, let's see, wall main level. Yeah. Then I've got way too many layers. Way too many layers. Where's wall main level? Okay, there it is. Let's turn off that, and that. And let's turn off roof. Here we go. Now we can start to see, and then we can turn on wall framing. There we go. And we'll turn off walls. Floor scheme or floor sheeting, and we'll turn off wall or floor scheme. There. Now we got our finished walls up here, and you can see how you see this wall is sitting over that drywall's hanging over that joist, that header joist right there. A half inch, so everything's working out. It's kind of funny because what I was trying to get to, part of what I was trying to get to is you'll have this little ledge here, and the homeowner was asking me why on the, let's see, floor floor sheeting. That's not the one I wanted. The homeowner was asking me why we were going to have this ledge here. Okay. And it's kind of odd. It's kind of hard to explain to people why you have it. But basically, it's the difference between, you know, your basement wall, your concrete wall's 10 inches. Then you got this 4.5 inch space, you know, or thickness for this wall here that you're going to frame out in front of it. And so that gives you this extra little floor here, and all you do is you put a bullnose on it, and then you put flooring on it, and it looks fine. You can set, you know, whatever books or whatever. It's kind of neat to have that ledge actually. You can set stuff there, whatnots or whatever. And then this wall is that weird one that gets framed up at an angle. That's over here. If I moved it back, I think I had it 26 feet. 26 feet. Yeah. So that's how that actually gets framed up. Except that somehow I got it in the wrong spot. Right there. No, I didn't. What is going on? That's right. That was an optical illusion. That's right. Because this one gets framed up at an angle. And I'm not going to go into all that right now. So this wall, these studs will be, you know, obviously you'll have a top plate, a couple top plates, and the studs will be cut at an angle to slope that wall going down. And this is just an affordable way. Handrails are really expensive. This is cheap. I can get my framer basically to do all this for really no extra cost. But if you start having a trim guy come in here and build handrails, you know, you're going to add $3,000 to $5,000 to the cost of the job. Easy. I mean, I've built $20,000-$30,000 sets of handrails before, so they can get really expensive. Let's see. I know this is a really long video. Has anybody else got? I don't know why seeing this. Well, because you clicked on it, goober. That's why you're seeing it. What's wrong with you people? What's wrong with you? Alright, so you're seeing it because you're seeing quality entertainment and instructional video on how to frame things, how things are done in real life. There's the way things are done on the internet, and then there's the way things are done in real life. They don't match up. I'm trying to show how things are done in real life. You know, that's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to bring some real stuff to the internet. You know. All right. I may end this here, or I will, because it's been too long, and I'm sure everyone's asleep and tired of construction video for today. But this is the kind of detail I go through for everything. So that's the artisan way. It's the way really everyone should plan their projects out. Even if you just it's harder on paper, you know, because you don't have the flexibility of, you know, of being able to, you know, move things around or move your view around. But as long as you take that floor to floor, your finished floor to floor, and you have proper information, and you plan your risers and treads out, you can get to a good finished product. But I don't know how many homes I've been into, and I've seen the stairs all wacky because there was just no planning. They just started building without planning. But anyway, thanks for watching. Let me see if there's any. Dud, the algorithm has blessed us with this. Oh, dude. The algorithm. Google's algorithm is good for something, isn't it? Besides corrupting the minds of man, sometimes it actually does good. Anyway, has anybody got any questions? I didn't know anybody was watching. Oh, they're not. They're gone. Oh, wait. Yeah, stream settings. 0. Concurrent viewers. Okay, so this has gone too long. And now's a good time to end it because I'm complete. I'm finished. And I appreciate everybody watching. And I'll see you next time.